Are you looking to find out about what laryngopharyngeal reflux or silent reflux or LPR is? Then you're in the right place. Hi, my name's Stacey Menton of SingingMamasHomestead.com, and I'm going to talk about reflux. So let's get it started by talking about the different kinds of reflux. There are two main types of reflux. There's gastroesophageal reflux, which is reflux that comes up and it usually causes heartburn and indigestion. And then there's a kind of reflux that causes a couple of other symptoms like coughing, throat clearing, feeling like there's something stuck in your throat, and maybe some voice changes as well. That kind of reflux is called laryngopharyngeal reflux or silent reflux because it doesn't have the same symptoms all the time. You may have both sides of the symptoms, both GERD and LPR, but the concern with laryngopharyngeal reflux or LPR is that it comes up higher into the throat area. And there's a couple of reasons we're concerned about that. So first of all, yes, there's acid coming up, and the acid is going to, irritate the tissues in your throat. But there's also this enzyme in our stomachs called pepsin. Pepsin is an enzyme that helps digest protein, which is fabulous in our stomachs because we eat protein. But when the acid comes up, the pepsin comes too. And when the pepsin gets up into your throat area, it recognizes your throat muscles as protein. So it binds to them and starts to digest them, making them red, puffy, and irritated. And that irritation causes you to feel like there's something here, which might cause you to clear your throat, which is like slapping your vocal folds together at 250 miles an hour. You do that enough and you can cause voice changes. You can cause more irritation in the throat, which then causes more throat clearing. It can just be a mess. So, pepsin is activated by acid. So once it's in your throat, it can sit dormant for up to 90 days. And since it's activated by acid, it no longer matters whether you have another reflux event or if you eat something that's acidic, that can also turn on the pepsin. So what can we do about this? So the first thing you want to do is make sure that that's what your problems are. So the first thing you want to do is go see ideally a laryngologist. A fellowship trained laryngologist would be your best bet because they're going to look at it and they can tell you if your symptoms are from reflux or is there something else going on in your throat as well. And they can do that with a quick scope. So first you want to see a laryngologist and get a good diagnosis. Now, they may prescribe medications which may help, but you don't want to stay on those medications forever because they have side effects. And there's actually some research showing that dietary and lifestyle changes are as good, if not better, than reflux medications for laryngopharyngeal reflux. So the dietary and lifestyle changes that I usually recommend include avoid eating 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Don't recline for at least 30 minutes after meals. You want to stay sitting upright so that everything makes its way through. And then you want to make sure you're sleeping on an incline. You want to make sure you're taking any medications that your doctor prescribed correctly. Make sure that you specifically ask your doctor about what time you should take the medication. Some of the medications require that you take them 30 to 60 minutes before a meal to help activate them. And some of the medications you want to take before bedtime. It depends on what's prescribed. And then one of my favorite things to recommend is alkaline water. There was a study done in 2015 that showed that alkaline water, which is water specifically in this case with a pH of 8.8 or above, can actually denature or completely turn off pepsin in test tubes. So the thought process then goes that if it can turn it off in test tubes, then we can probably turn it off in the throat if the alkaline water is going past it, kind of as a chaser. So I usually recommend that you start with 8 ounces of alkaline water with a pH of 8.8 or above after every meal. If that's helping, great. If you feel like you need a little bit more, go ahead and drink more. You're not going to hurt yourself. If it's not working after about a week, I wouldn't continue with it just because you're spending a lot of money on water and maybe that's not actually your issue then. The other thing I'd recommend would be to reduce the acidity of your diet. Now, I'm not a huge fan of changing the acidity of your diet because I think that the alkaline water tends to work for most people, and then you don't have to significantly decrease the amount of acidic foods that you're eating. You're kind of making up for it with the alkaline water. There was a study done in, I think it was published in 2017, that actually showed that a Mediterranean style diet, which is a low animal protein diet because pepsin digests animal protein. So a Mediterranean style diet combined with reflux precautions, which I just went over, was just as effective as a proton pump inhibitor, which is one of those medications that might be prescribed, just as effective at the end of the period of research. And so if you can change everything with diet, that's great. And rather than completely taking out all the acid, I feel like that's your best bet. Now, if the alkaline water is not working for you and your doctor's pretty sure that it's laryngopharyngeal reflux and the medications aren't helping either, or maybe everything's helping a little, but it's not quite where you want it to be, that's when I usually recommend to start thinking about decreasing the acidity of your diet as well. And there's actually a great book that describes laryngopharyngeal reflux really well as it's a cookbook. And so it's called Dropping Acid, the Reflux Diet Cookbook and Cure. It's written by Dr. Jamie Kaufman. She's a laryngologist up in New York. And the recipes are actually really yummy. The OMG banana oatmeal pancakes are one of my favorites. I'll make sure to put a link in the description below for that book. Finally, I'd like you to consider, if you're looking to improve your vocal quality or just learn how to take care of your voice, I have a course on vocal wellness for professional voice users that goes over a lot of different topics regarding how to take care of your voice. It does go into some depth in this laryngopharyngeal reflux piece, but there's more to it than that. All right, it was good talking to you all, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.